Good afternoon from Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where there are a lot of things that are closed. One thing that isn't closed though is Nickelodeon Land and Nick Street, although this area does close 1 hour before park close, so technically it is closed, but it's not closed. Top tip, always come to Nick Street early. Unlike me, it's 1 o'clock, but for some reason it barely has any queue, so. Each time I go on Nick Street, it gets rougher, definitely. Bubbles. Wettest water ride in the UK goes to Rugrats. Grand National's got some competition in terms of roughness now with that. Pleasure Beach is actually very busy today for a Wednesday afternoon. It doesn't look like there's many people around the park, but a lot of the people are in queues. Quick pit stop. When you come to Pleasure Beach, you just have to get a Tango ice blast. And the guy in there was really nice and said, because a lot of them aren't frozen and are quite watery, we can come back in about half an hour and get another one for free. Yeah, this is not coming back this season. All of like the cables have been ripped out. It looks very worse for wear. Even like the paint on the pipes. Everything's just looking tired. It looks like me after a 12-hour day at Alton Towers Scarefest. Battered and knackered. I would like to see it coming back, because realistically, what are Pleasure Beach really going to do with this area? It's just picnic tables, yeah. But no, realistically, there's not really much you can put in this space, so either get rid or hopefully restore. It's an alright ride, it's a crowd pleaser. It gets people in the queue, gets people away from the other rides, so I don't really see the problem with it being here. I do find it funny how Pleasure Beach closed Valhalla and did the whole refurbishment to make it more reliable, but it hasn't even opened and it's 2 o'clock. When you think about it, there's so much potential space now at Pleasure Beach. That dome hasn't been used for years. Grand Prix is now closed. All of these are just shipping containers that they can get rid of. And they have this huge area behind Alice in Wonderland. So much potential space. Hashtag B&M all the way around. Also, this space as well for a new coaster. I mean, it's just pretty much empty. Hello? 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 I'm really wondering what they're going to do to River Caves. I'm kind of glad that they've closed it because it needed a lot of work done. If you've been on it and seen the snake with no skin, you know what I mean. But yeah, it'd be nice to see it get a bit of TLC. Maybe bring back the old scenery bit that they had up there. And it looks like this wood has been redone recently, but what do you think they're doing on the inside? They've closed off the little tunnel of love as well. The little bin tunnel's been closed as well. One train service. 20 minutes later. Cannot operate on one train when the queue's like this. This is what happens when Pleasure Beach refuse to put more than one train on the track. It's taken about 45 minutes to an hour to get on the big one today, on a day where it should have took 15-20 minutes with 2 trains. Shocking. Beyond me why Pleasure Beach aren't running 2 trains on that. On a day where the queue's coming down the ramp, and even when we were in there, down all around the side, it doesn't make sense why they weren't running 2 trains. One train, and the one train was dispatched, then all of the operators were just sitting around on the back. It's not their fault that it's not on 2 trains. It's beyond me why they aren't running 2 trains on big one. It seems like they want to make the park look busy when it's really not that busy, because I've just wasted an hour when it could have been half an hour, 20 minutes with 2 trains. Unbelievable. Anyway, here's Icon. In terms of the big one, it is a really good coaster. I have a very special place for the big one in my heart. It's a little bit rough, to be honest, but it has a special place. I'm just a bit biased, if I'm honest. That drop, though, is incredible. And I think I prefer the drop on big one to Hyperia. Don't hate me, please. No, but Icon is running on 2 trains without the Enso train, so we should be getting on this shortly. The Grand Prix has now left Pleasure Beach, and they've been going around moving a lot of the cables over the past few days as well. 2 trains on within 6 minutes. On and off within 15 minutes. Icon is still very smooth and very enjoyable. Have you got any Iron Brew? Well, I used to. Second Ice Blast, and I'm not talking about the Ice Blast. Actually, there shouldn't be any confusion because that's called PlayStation and we just called it all Ice Blast. And this is what happens when you open a ride at like 3 o'clock and there's literally 2 hours till park close. It gets a big queue. Yes! All the school trips are going home. Yeah. Leave no queues, please. Leave no queues. And a quick little costume change into some Crocs. My best tip for you if you're coming to Pleasure Beach, buy a locker for £4 something and just bring a spare. So I've got my shoes and I've got my Crocs, because when you put your feet into those boats, you're pretty much admitting death because your shoes will get soaked. So buy a locker and just wear some Crocs. Now I can go on it loads of times because I don't really mind getting these wet and I've just got no socks on, so I can get into some nice comfy socks later. And bring a poncho for obvious reasons. Just bring a poncho. Now we are officially ready for Valhalla. And I'm gonna roll up my jeans as well so they don't get wet. Look at this. Look at this planning. I would say this is about 35 minute wait. Ziggity zag, ziggity zag, ziggity zag, cattle pen. Cattle pen. They've given up so much of Ice Blast that Amanda Thompson was like, you know what, just advertise hot ice on it. And we are now ready. And no, I'm not just about to go in and do surgery. It's time to get wet. Although, poncho, saving. Time for a very useless ticket scan. Love the station. We did not do bad there at all. None of my jeans, none of my t-shirt are wet. Only the bottom of the Crocs, which is fine because I'm now going back to the locker to get my socks on. I'll talk to you after I get my feet out of these squelchy Crocs. And with a little bit of running, we've made it to Grand National. Our carriage or our box of spanners awaits. If you would like to see a doctor while you're at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the best way to do that is try at Grand National on back row. In fact, that ambulance going across the promenade is for me after that whiplash. Oh. In terms of Valhalla though, it was working pretty perfectly. All of the effects were on except from the Ring of Fire, which is a very temperamental one. You either get it or you either don't. Although to be fair, it's not a bad day to get wet. But it's so interesting to me that Blackpool Pleasure Beach closed Valhalla to refurb it so it became more reliable, but it seems to open later than it used to in like 2019. Today it opened at 3 and the park closes at 5. Solid 2 hours of ride time. Well, actually, to be fair, it was about 2:30, so fair enough. Today has been a pretty busy day on park, but most of the school trips go home at about 4, 3-ish. So it really does die down. And to be honest, 70 to 80% of the people that come to Pleasure Beach are school trips.
Welcome to the Big Dipper. Please secure all articles, bags and electronics must be taken on the ride.
It's an earthquake as that comes in. Considerably smoother than Grand National. And Big Dipper is older than Grand National. Make it make sense. Avalanche is getting some nice painting work done. It seems like every single season it gets a little bit more paint. I see Owen, I see Icon. Hyperia. Oh, I do like to be by the sea. Oh, no, we'll have to blur that. Can we have blurring, please? Blur, blur. Icon Station is better than Hyperia. I said it. Big one, and there's actually no references to it being the UK's tallest roller coaster. I'm not sure whether they've changed that or it just never had any references. I'm out of breath. How can I be out of breath? I only run from there to here. It really confuses me why this park doesn't bring back tickets. Hello, obviously it does mean that you're going to get more random people just coming in and it's going to be less of a theme park experience. But I think just Pleasure Beach need to capitalise on that. The Chinese puzzle maze is getting a nice little repaint. It looks very fresh and vibrant. Very nice. And because of that painting, you can't actually get into the maze at the minute. Even just an afternoon ticket, if you finish work at like 3 or 4 and come in if the park's open till 6 for like 2 hours, and an afternoon ticket is like £20, £18, I don't think it'd be too bad. No matter how big, no matter how strong coasters in the UK get, Hyperia, the big one will always remain as one of my favourites. It still looks bigger than Hyperia. Maybe it's because of the steel structures, supports, and the sea level when you're looking over at the sea. Obviously the sea's lower, so it's going to feel higher. But I don't know, it just feels more intimidating than Hyperia. And the first drop feels much more bigger as well. Although saying that, Hyperia has a very good layout. Obviously the Grand Prix has now closed. And it's definitely a big area for future development. I mean, you've got all of this, and of course it loops around all of that side of the park by Icon, by Big One. So obviously the track is very thin, but definitely easily could fit some supports. Obviously you've got the big dome, as I said, a fountain area earlier as well. Definitely some area to play with. Fingers crossed, it's too big of a space to have a flat ride. Definitely some sort of coaster, 2026. I always found it weird with River Caves, how they did the rocks here and then just randomly stopped there. A brand new facade of blue and no more scream and scream and scream. Look how nice this raincoat is. Ooh. What in the Crocs is going on? Okay, these are cute. Goodbye, old lover. Goodbye, old friend. I salute you. And there we go, 11 till 5, that is Pleasure Beach done. We've done quite a few bits today actually, but it was much busier than I thought. School trips have definitely kicked in now, but a lot of them go at like 3-4ish, so you can get a lot of the rides done in the last 1.5 hours or so. But yeah, the merch range in there is definitely one of the best in the UK, and there's a lot of rides closed. Thanks for watching, see ya.